All right, so I've been getting lots of messages about why I left EXP Realty. And, he has been home for me since August of 2019. And while I don't have, anything major to complain about with EXP, there are a couple of little things here and there. And then, I've noticed sort of them, pivot along the way and make some changes, but they were positive changes to help with the growth of the company. And I expect a company like EXP to do stuff like that. So that's all great. And I've also made so many great friends, people that I've met virtually and then finally got to meet in person at their live events. But this video is not about why I love EXP so much. It's about why did I leave EXP? So essentially, it's kind of like anybody who outgrows their clothes, whether you outgrow your clothes in a good way because you've lost a bunch of weight, or you outgrow them in a bad way because you gained weight. You outgrow your clothes, and I outgrew EXP and I felt like I was ready for a change. And I began researching some options that are out there, and just the way, EXP talks about how we once had Blockbuster Video, right? And then all of a sudden Netflix came about. Well, it's really not that different, where we have Netflix that's still around and now we have Hulu, right? So there's always going to be other companies that come by and learn and see what another company does, and that has paved the way, right, for this type of model. And there are a few companies that have now done that and are really becoming some competition now for EXP. And again, it's not because EXP is a bad company. They're not. I think Glenn Sanford, who created EXP, was brilliant because he created this model and paved the way for real estate to really be reimagined in a way that, wasn't done before. We had these brick and mortar buildings and now we don't, right? Or we still do, but those who are smart don't go to those. They go to these virtual type of companies. The company that I chose was LPT Realty, and LPT is founded by a gentleman by the name of Robert Palmer. And what I find to be exceptionally cool about this is that Robert Palmer is actually from the same hometown that I am. I am in Lakeland, Florida. Robert Palmer is a former Lakeland resident. He actually graduated high school from a local high school here in South Lakeland. And Robert Palmer, got into the business of doing mortgages, and it was obviously in the real estate industry for many years. He studied EXP Realty's model for a good number of years and decided to recreate a model that was similar but not exactly the same, because he wanted to take the things that worked with EXP and the things that didn't work with EXP and create a new and more improved version. Okay. And I've heard some, I'll call them haters. And again, not to say anything bad about EXP, because again, I loved EXP. All right. But there are some agents out there that are sort of like hating on this because, well, it makes sense. Obviously, they're going to hate on this model. So these EXP agents, they are hating on this model because, well, it makes sense. They potentially stand to lose a lot of money because the way that these models have been designed is, the more agents that you attract under you in what we call and refer to as your downline, when those agents close deals and start producing and make money, so do you. And that's the beauty of these models. And that's one of the things that really attracted me to this model, not just because of the ability to be able to create passive income, but also because of the fact that everyone was in to win, right, together. So a lot of times you go to just a regular brick and mortar company and somebody tells you, oh yeah, come on board, come join, this brokerage, and you sign up and then you never hear from them again. That's it. You're done. They have nothing vested in you. They had you come by, but there's really not much that they gain by you coming over to that company. But with companies like EXP, like LPT, like Real, right? That's another one. These companies, the agents that sponsor you into the companies, they have something vested and they don't want to lose you. But here's where the kicker is, right? So with a company like EXP, where the agents have been around for a long time, right? Since what, 2011, 12 is when the company was founded, and now 2000, I would say 16, 17, 18, big number, 19, even bigger number, is when really things started moving and grooving with this company. It took a while to get it going. Those agents recruited thousands and thousands of agents. And so they're making lots of money from these agents that are under them. So it makes sense that they wouldn't want to lose all of those agents just to go over to another company that's similar, right? LPT has done better. They have created a better platform, a better model. And so I'm going to give you a couple of reasons why I believe that this company is essentially a better model, and what made it better for me to leave a company that I loved, okay? So one of the things that I personally love about LPT is on the consumer side. I get to provide the greatest service to my consumers because of the fact that LPT, the founder, was also founder of a company called Listing Power Tools. And Listing Power Tools was sort of his marketing, right? He knew, Robert Palmer being he, knew how to do marketing the right way. You know, like I said, he was involved in the mortgage industry. He was the founder of RP Funding, right? Robert Palmer, RP Funding. And RP Funding, he grew and grew through all of his marketing. And he has figured out what works and what doesn't work when it comes to marketing. So he wanted to do the same for real estate agents. So he created Listing Power Tools. Listing Power Tools, I personally know agents that used Listing Power Tools, right? And they paid like $300-400 a month just to have access to these tools. And what these tools are is this enormous box that comes shipped to your house as a real estate agent when you have a listing, and it's your marketing, right? It's about 168 pieces of marketing for your listing. And so you go into a listing appointment as a real estate agent and you show them this box, right? Because of course you get a sample box to show them. And your sellers are wowed, you know, by what you can do for them and how you're going to be able to market the property. And I think it really helps you stand out from other agents. And so that's one of the big things, because I am still a real estate agent. While I, like I said, love the agent attraction part of this company, I still sell real estate, and I want to be able to provide my sellers with the best possible marketing that's available to them. So that was a big win for me. The other part of what I love about LPT is their model. The fact that they have these two different models where agents who are new and are learning, a lot of agents fall out of the business quickly. And why? Because they're spending so much money. With LPT, they don't have to do that. They can join the brokerage with spending $0, right? There's no sign-up fee. They don't have to pay any monthly fees at all, which is great. Per transaction, they pay $500 per transaction. That's it. And they cap at $5,000. So that means after 10 transactions, they can cap and then keep 100% of their commissions. So for a brand new agent who may very well not do more than 10 transactions, who may not necessarily be all about agent attraction right now because that's not what's important to them. First, they want to learn how to be a real estate agent. This model gives them the opportunity to do exactly that. Okay. But once they decide that, hey, I got this, I understand how this model works, they can switch over to what we call our rev share plan, which is the 80-20 split. And the 80-20 split caps at $15,000, where with EXP, I was paying $16,000, not a huge difference, right? But with the rev share plan, you get paid a lot of stuff, but you're also earning rev share, okay? And that's, like I said, a similar model to EXP. With LPT, the rev share, there's, I feel, a lot more opportunity, okay? And here's why. EXP has 88,000 agents, right? And that's fantastic, right? They've grown a lot, and LPT is only almost at 3,000. I say only, but keep in mind, they only started in February and really did their official launch in August. So a few months of that growth is actually making them the fastest growing brokerage company in the history of real estate companies. Okay, so pretty impressive that there in itself. But as far as the rev share goes, and the agent attraction, I am going to have a lot more opportunity to recruit agents, because this is the big like for me is you don't have to work as hard to recruit agents because they already understand how this model works. With EXP, the agents that had to do a lot of recruiting at the time back in the day, they had to educate and teach agents on, okay, listen, just trust me, this rev share model, this sort of like multi-level marketing plan that this company has, this is what the potential it is. This is what it can do for you. But now you've got 88,000 agents out there and others who just maybe decided not to join, or maybe left because they didn't want to pay the monthly fees and they couldn't get their business going, or whatever it might be. Or they just heard of EXP at this point. You've got all these people that understand what this model is and what it can do for you. So now you're presenting to them yet another model that's actually new and improved that offers a lot more to agents. So the agent attraction piece is going to be easier. Now, okay, so I've told you about the different models that LPT offers. I told you about the stock. I told you about the rev share. One of the things that I love, the branding. You know, I was able to do anything that I want with the logo as long as I didn't change the font. I can change the color and I can make it match my branding. You know, with EXP, I was stuck with the blue and gold, with the black or the white, and that was it. Couldn't make it pink or purple or, you know, anything that I wanted to do. So now I have a little bit more freedom when it comes to my branding. So EXP had something called Icon Agent, and LPT has a very similar program. It's called the Black Badge. The way the two programs differ is, with EXP, it's a little bit more complicated. You had to sell, or you had to cap, excuse me, at your $16,000 cap. And essentially, once you capped within your join year, you then had to sell approximately 20 individual properties that you sold after you cap to achieve icon status. With Black Badge, super easy. 35 deals, you earn Black Badge status. And they give you $15,000, that money that you paid for your cap, they give it back to you to use towards your marketing in your business. When I started in real estate back in 2018, I went through a couple of different CRMs. And one of the things that really drew me to EXP was their CRM. They have a CRM called KV Core, okay? KV Core is fantastic. It's a beast. There's so much you can do with KV Core. It's super expensive to have if you're a single agent and you're not with a company that uses KV Core. And I found that a lot of companies now, a lot of brick and mortar companies are starting to use KV Core because they see like how all these agents are going over to EXP to have KV Core, right? So here's the thing. KV Core is such a beast that if you're not necessarily tech savvy, like I'm not tech savvy, you're not using all of the resources that it has, and you have to actually end up paying somebody to do some of the functionalities that it offers because you don't know how to do it, and you can't like customize your website. There's so many things you just can't do because you just don't know what you don't know. With LPT, they have a CRM, and it's called Chime. And Chime is also a beast, okay? There's so much that you can do. It is so easy to use. And here's like what I kind of compare it to. I compare it to, and I'm sorry for those of you who don't use iPhone, then you won't be able to relate, but I am an iPhone user, but I've also been an Android user. In fact, I was an Android user, went over to iPhone, went back to Android, and then went back to iPhone. And I've been with iPhone for years. And when I say iPhone, Apple, you know what I mean. But I kind of compare KV Core to Android, and I compare Chime to using Apple. Apple products are just so simple, right? It's very streamlined, very simplistic, and that is how Chime is, and I love that. So I am a huge fan of Chime. I'm so glad that they have this platform. I don't miss KV Core at all. Like that's there. If I do not miss it, not one single bit. So you have the EXP World where they offer lots of training, and don't get me wrong, I love all of the training that EXP has, and I did like the EXP World. I'm not gonna lie. I liked it in the sense that it felt like you were talking to somebody, face to face, even though you were just like this little avatar. But it wasn't always the most convenient thing to do, because if you're out on the road and you have a question, you can't necessarily, jump into the EXP World. It wasn't mobile friendly at all. Like, they had an app, but you could only go into like certain rooms, so it was basically useless. But with LPT, they have a knowledge base. It's called LPT Connect. And you are able to ask like any question in the world, and they will answer you, and their answer rate is like within an hour, and problems are solved like within 5 minutes of them answering you. So, and that's real stats that I'm sharing with you that I got from, the powers that be. Like, that's real numbers. It's amazing. And I've experienced. So something else to mention about their LPT Connect, if you want to know how to write a contract, you type in, how do I write a contract? And you get all these videos that pop up that give you all the information that you need to learn how to write a contract. So the resources that they have for training, especially for a brand new agents, is endless. There are so many resources. You will definitely not go without information that you need to be successful. They also have a mentorship program. They have two different types of mentorship programs, but they actually have mentors. And this is another thing that's huge. Now, I was a mentor with EXP, and I was one of those good mentors, but there's not a lot of mentors that actually do that. And I've heard some horror stories of mentors with EXP, unfortunately. I'm not going to mention names, of course, but that, became a mentor and just didn't help. LPT has hired agents that don't want to be in production anymore, agents that just want to work for corporate, and all they want to do is mentor. That's their thing. They mentor new agents. And so you have a dedicated mentor to help you every step of the way. So I think that is a huge, huge plus. Something that EXP probably needs to do better on with their mentor program. If I was gonna say something bad about EXP, I would say that. Okay, so here's something that's really, really cool. Agent recruitment assistance. Okay, this is another thing that EXP does not do. And I think this is fantastic because Robert Palmer owns a printing company, right? In-house, his own printing company. What they do for you is when you're working a deal, a transaction with another agent, let's say I'm representing the seller, I have a buyer representing the buyer, we close the deal, everything is done, all is good. The agent most likely knows that I'm with LPT Realty. What LPT is doing is they are sending mailers out, thank you so much for a successful transaction. If you'd like to know more about LPT, please reach out to me. And it has my information on there, like as if I sent the mailer, right? And that agent, if he does call the number, the agent attraction number that's on there, I get that agent sponsored under me just because I was the one who was on the other side of the deal. And this is no matter if I was representing the seller or the buyer, no matter which side I was on, I'm going to get that credit. So I think that is huge. That is fantastic. I wish EXP had something like that in place. That would help us out so much with the agent attraction, piece to our business. Okay, so I have talked your ear off. I meant for this video to be like 10 minutes long, and it ended up being 20 minutes long. But if there's any questions that you have about LPT, just reach out to me, message me here. You can call me direct, 863-286-0822. Make sure you hit the like and the subscribe button, especially if you've gotten all the way to the end of this video. Hope all the information has helped you make a, an educated and informed decision when it comes to selecting a brokerage company and deciding between, a big powerhouse company that's now well known like EXP, or maybe selecting one like LPT that's up and coming. I hope you have all the information to help you, and please know, for me to make a change and make a difference and leave a company like EXP, I'm telling you right now, it had to be good.